Uploading Nerdigans, this is the one and only Packer Girl 89, and today's Manga Nerdigan live reaction video is going to be for 100 Man no Inochi no U ni Orawa Tare Uru, aka 100 Standing on a Million Lives chapter 63. So before I get into this recap and live reaction, let me just remind you to hit that like, share, and subscribe buttons. And if you love what I'm doing and want to help keep this channel alive and kicking, feel free to hit up my Cash App and PayPal. Those links are in the description box below. So because this is my first live reaction for this series, I'm going to briefly give you my thoughts on the series so far and then dive right into chapter 63. So basically, this series is really interesting because you have Yotsuya and for starters, a couple of girls working together to complete these quests in another world. And once they complete a quest, they return to the real world, and then at a random time they'll come back and they and bring someone else with them. And they're not the only ones doing this. There's people all around the world doing this, which is really goddamn cool. But there's a catch. If they fail to complete the quest, they will die. But the quest that they're doing right now is very, very interesting because it is an economic quest. Yeah, you got the fantastical element, obviously, but it's economically based. And right now it is up to this NEET Futoshige to resolve this. And this is going to be very interesting. It's going to be a battle of wits, so to speak. I'm really excited to see how this is going to go down because they're about to confront the king. But what this is giving me right now is very similar to what we had in Rurouni Kenshin Hokkaido arc not too long ago. So I'm really excited to see how this showdown is executed. So without further ado, let's get to chapter 63, see what's in store for us this month. My king, the peasants, they've gathered outside. What? Why would they do that? It's those who oppose the decree and those who are unhappy with Basma. What? Yeah, Basma he is a nasty one. The citizens of the Inkabalt Kingdom care very little about politics. The Senate is technically formed by the nobles, along with senators elected by the people. The nobles are overwhelmingly more powerful, both in terms of number and influence. Hence, the kingdom lacks an effective system to deliver the voice of the people to the government. So you have one senator elected per region, and it's up to 4 members per family, which is for the nobles. And chapter 63 is titled Kingdom, Citizen, and Economy. Oh boy. And the fact that no problem has risen over the years is because the Senate is not obligated to inform the citizens on the current issues. This sounds very familiar, does it not? Since the people are completely unaware of the politics, they can neither agree nor oppose what happens on the other side of the door. Oh my god, this sounds so fucking familiar. I am so glad I'm starting to cover this manga this month. Holy shit. While this has been going well for the most part, the sudden announcement of the decree completely altered its immediate landscape. How did they know about the trial today? With the death of so many nobles, even those who supported the decree began to feel uneasy about it, because what was going on was with this decree was to have these blacksmiths come in and create all these weapons, develop forge all these weapons for these mercenaries, these knights to go and take out this dragon. And of course, the one we believe is concocting this whole scheme is oh my god, where is this bitch? Is Basma. So this is gonna be very interesting. With the death of so many nobles, who even those who supported the decree began to feel uneasy about it. I object. What now? I'd like to summon a few representatives from the protesters. Again, sounds familiar, huh? So you're the one who led the mob here. There's no reason to meet those liars. We'll be arresting him anyway, so there's no need to conform to his request. Is that so? Shit, after all the work to bring those ignorant civilians here, if we can't bring them in, it'll be all for nothing. Father, what? Philo and Bosma are two separate cases. If we choose to ignore one of them, then there's no need to conform to the other. In that case, we can ignore Bosma's proposal as well. Is that so? Nice save. Go, princess! For the citizens who know nothing about politics to come this far, the problem is already getting out of hand. Again, sounds familiar, doesn't it? You've never had the chance to listen to the voices of the people, so now is the time. Or would you rather risk the possibility of a revolt, Your Highness? Revolt? The kingdom has not seen a revolt in hundreds of years. Should one occur under the rule of the current king, his name will be forever associated with incompetence. Pathetic. We will stop them with force. Commoner-born Bosma makes a mistake in his remarks. You want to deploy troops on civilians? Bosma! For those that wanted martial law last year, you mofos were very mistaken by wanting martial law. And actually I should say, both of you flocks are mistaken by that. You have no control over the army. Take back your words at once. Apologies for my impudence. I withdraw my comment. Very well, bring them in, on the condition that the mob does not revolt. Let's see. Okay, very well, bring them in on the condition that the mob does not revolt. There are a few representatives I'd like to summon. The candidates were decided beforehand. A bereaved widow, a blacksmith in debt, and the old couple who took care of him were the people Fudashige selected. The widow, I lost the family I hold most dear. My husband and 2 brothers spoke of the family she lost. This is the first time the nobles have met the family of the deceased besides themselves. I know very well how you feel. I lost my sons too, and Viola replied on behalf of the nobles who lost their heir. And when I learned that the decree might have been created to intentionally cripple this kingdom, there's no way I can forgive the one behind it. Please find and punish the one responsible for this. The widow wishes to convict the creator of the decree. But who's responsible? The king, those who support the decree, or Bosma, who benefited the most from it? In other words, the nobles have 3 options. Blame the king, blame Bosma, or shoulder the blame together. Sounds very familiar, doesn't it? It sounds like a lot with our politics. Who shoulders the blame? And especially with what's happening right now. Who shoulders the blame for the misinformation? Who shoulders the blame for allowing our situation to continue to spiral? Well, at least for my opinion, in regards to that, before I continue, my opinion is that the one who shoulders the blame in all this is us, the people. Because we, the people, have information. We have the internet. We have the largest database at our fingertips. And we could hold these mofos, thanks to social media, we could hold these mofos accountable by presenting the evidence at hand. But people are stupid and lazy and don't know how to use the internet, don't know how to utilize it, and don't know what a credible source is anymore. And I learned that in the public school system what a credible source is, so at least the public school system didn't fail me in that respect. Anyway, let's keep going. Most of those who supported the decree are still here today, which means at least some of them will place the blame on Bosma. The blacksmith, not just the deceased, we worked nonstop day and night for 3 years. Were those all for nothing? Many even committed suicide from overwork. Look who's talking. You speak as if no one's paying you. It was only profitable at the beginning. We are barely in the black these days. Not surprising with you lot taking 30% of the profit. Ooh, but there are still shops that's starting a profit. Perhaps you are failing because you lack the skills to compete. Compete? Are all the orders compete, all the orders pass through you, who then source them to us. Our income is entirely determined by when we enter the market and how acquainted we are with you. Ooh, this is some crony capitalism shit. This is cronyism. So bring forth the income report. Yes, sir. While the overall economy has grown, the average income per capita has actually lowered. See, this ain't no free market capitalism. This is cronyism. Of course, the average income will drop with all the cheap foreign labor. Doesn't this sound very familiar? No, even if we exclude foreign workers, the average income is dropping. If we break it down, we can see that the income of people employed by BOSMA has risen the most. Oh, this is cronyism at its finest. Smiths with close connection to BOSMA are seeing an increase in profit, and shops in their surrounding areas are making more as well. Otherwise, the income for the majority of the citizens has slightly decreased. Part of me wants to say this is like monopoly as well, but yeah, this is straight up cronyism for sure. So, you were merely envying my success. Not to mention your terrorist activity is doing nothing to help this economy. You're in a position to judge me. Oh, shut the fuck up, Bosma. You call me a terrorist? Bro! Dude, this is some projection. This is some projection. That's right. You shut down all those blacksmith shops. What else would you call that? That is not what terrorism is. I know you'll tell me you compensated for their losses, but those shops... They compensated for their losses! That is not terrorism! But those shops weren't running by themselves. The miners who supply the ores, carriers who deliver the cargo, lumberjacks, blacksmiths are not the only ones who losing their jobs. The timing of this chapter is fucking everything. If you insist it's not a terrorist activity, then how about you compensate those people too? Ooh! Ooh! The projection! Basma is not wrong. I'm just returning the excess supply caused by the decree back to normal. It would have to be done in the future anyhow. Ooh, he got you there. And return the kingdom back to its old impoverished state? What can you possibly achieve from that? The economy... Ooh, here's where Basma... I have to give props to Basma here, because he is 1,000,000,000% right. This part right here. The economy cares not for the right or wrong. If you could trick it into growing, then you are the victor. Ooh, this is where he is half right. If you could trick it into growing, then you are the victor, though perhaps that's a little difficult to understand for the uneducated. Oh, this is some weird shit. This is what he is saying actually is what China is doing. This motherfucker, he's talking about like what China's doing with manipulating currency. You bitch! You're wrong! Thank you. Oh, how so? Such method exists in our world as well. See, big countries lying for the growth of their economy. See what I mean? He's talking about China. And scums who keep lending them money they do not have to grow the market and take profits. Ooh, yes! Dude, he's going in. Until one day everything fell apart and the economy went into recession on a global scale. Ooh, you know who we're talking about. He's talking about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac from 2008. Growth spurred from lies is unsustainable and doomed from the start. The bigger the lie, the harder the fall. And in the end, it'll bring more harm than having not done anything in the first place. I need to read this again to the people in the back because this is 1,000,000,000% true. And we are seeing it right now. We are seeing history repeat itself because motherfuckers need to understand this. You mofos in Washington need to understand this. You mofos in California, in the Capitol, that's about like 15 minutes away from me, need to understand this. This right here. The economy does not care. The economy cares not for the right or the wrong. If you could trick it into growing, then you are the victor. Yeah, this is what those mofos in Sacramento said by a projected surplus. That is what this motherfucker is talking about, is the projected surplus. Bitch, that is what he's talking about, and you sheep fell for that. Though perhaps it's a little too difficult to understand for the uneducated. Yeah, like you sheep. You're wrong. Oh, how so? Such method exists in our world as well as big countries lying for the growth of their economy and scums who keep lending the money they do not have to grow the market and take profits. Yes, and does happen in the stock market as well. It does. But the thing is, though, in the stock market, it is a little bit different, though. Um, Sometimes it's abused, yes, sure, but sometimes if it's done if it's done legally, then it's not abused. That's just the system. Within the rules. But like with what was happen but sometimes it's done, like I'm talking about in particular shortening. But if shortening is done to the point where it crashes the economy, then that is where you're kind of crossing the line. But anyway, uh, aka betting against the market. But or betting against the company, betting against the market. But you know what I mean. Anyway, until one day, but what he's talking about in particular, the best example of this is Fannie and Freddie Fannie and Freddie in 2008. That's the best example of this. Until one day, everything fell apart and the economy went into recession on a global scale. Growth spurred from lies is unsustainable and doomed from the start. The bigger the lie, the harder the fall. And in the end, it'll bring more harm than having not done anything in the first place. And you know who else? You know what else I got to bring up here? Look at the green jobs plan, like Solyndra, who took the money and ran. Mm-hmm. I see. That's indeed one way to look at it. Well done, Futoshige. Yep. In summary, most citizens besides Basma are making less money by shutting down the shops. It will cause unemployment rate to spike, but as long as things return to normal, Vicky family's choice would be the correct one. The old couple, this kingdom was originally a religious state. It's been like that for 2,000 years. They were neither bereaved nor unemployed. They represent the elderly. What, Keys? You agree, right? Yeah. Before the decree, there weren't many jobs around, so a lot of the young folks were unemployed. Everyone had to do their best just to survive, but people managed to scrape by. Everyone was grateful to the mountains for bringing them peace and all as well. What they did was they spoke of their values, the values of Cathio that made up their ideologies. What a joke! Bunch of outdated views. Sounds familiar, right? Bringing down the standard of living will only cause more harm. You lived in poverty your whole life, so of course you'd become unaware of it. Yeah, I gotta side with Bosma on this one because that's what that this leads to is generational poverty. So, but do not hinder the hardworking men who are striving for a better future. If you envy them, then go join the workforce and make money yourself. The irony of this is everything, but he is right. He's right, but dude, you gotta practice what you preach here. Because it's so true. This guy says that even though it's he who created the competition. Yeah, we will not join the competition. Look what it has brought us. The heart of the people is divided. This right here. After the war, the idea of free market was introduced to Japan from the United States, and communism was considered evil. But the economy of Japan largely remained between the two, where the wealth gap exists but remains substantial, also known as the 100 million middle class. While its problems cannot be ignored from a positive stance, it was more often viewed as economic stability. However, after the turn of the century, non-full-time employment rapidly increased, quickly widening the wealth gap. The wealth gap is far greater in America, where the top 10% of the wealthiest men hold approximately 80% of the wealth. Money flows towards money. In a free market economy without a method to effectively redistribute the wealth gap will only grow wider. Stop. No. Ugh. Manga, here's where I gotta disagree with you and just not the socialism redistribution of wealth. No. If you want to talk about redistribution of wealth in like an economic and like a way where it's easier for entrepreneurs to start up businesses, aka, cutting red tape and cutting taxes, to make it easier for new businesses to form. Okay, we can, and for small businesses to become more successful. Okay, we can talk about that, because because of that, that's what creates jobs. That's free market. But if you're talking about like taxing the rich to give back to the poor, that's not going to decrease the wealth gap. That's going to increase it. And as we've seen, it's going to just give corporations more power. That's what I tell people. That's what I tell the leftists that I talk to, that they don't seem to understand that that what's holding a lot of small businesses. A good example is California, because before my late man's passed away, he was running his own businesses. So he knows how bad it was, because it costs a lot of money to start a business in California. It really does. Business license fees are expensive, and all of that. And it's insane. And then you have to pay wages for employees. And because it's so expensive now, why would you hire so many employees when it costs that much? When, especially in the case of say like fast food, you could just get a kiosk. Just saying. And a lot are going the new wave of business is being done via e-commerce. But that's just at least my opinion. But the 80% of the wealth, but the other thing is that what a lot of people don't seem to understand is that the top 10%, a lot of them do donate to charity. And they do a lot more. A lot of them do donate a lot of money. And the other thing is that those big companies, a lot of everyday people do invest in the stock market and invest in their companies, and their retirement funds are up in there. So yeah, just think about that. People forget to pray when they have money. There's nothing more pitiful than that. That's a bunch of bullshit. No, 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 no. That is a bunch of bullshit. No, 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 no. There are plenty of Jews that still pray. There are plenty of rich Christians that still pray. That is a bullshit argument. Bunch of nonsense. If they want to pray, then they can pray all they want. As for me, I'd rather use the time to read a book. Those who forget the graciousness of the mountains will not survive. Seems like you've forgotten how this kingdom came to be. Came to be? We are deep inside the mountains with little access to crops and stocks. We cannot forget. We cannot survive without the water and temperate climate provided to us by the mountains. Because of the mountains, we're spared from war. Even monsters are a rare sight in this land. I will agree to that extent. Though it also means it's difficult to export goods. But as long as we can self-sustain everything, as long as we can self-sustain, everything will be all right. Yes and no. The Kingdom of Bhutan is an isolated religious country that seldomly interacts with the outside world. Bhutan once had a national happiness index near 100%, but after the internet began to spread, its people's happiness plummeted. Well, as the saying goes, ignorance is bliss. Thanks to the internet, everyone could see the happiness others have experienced. In fact, not just Bhutan. Since the dot-com booms of the 90s, happiness all around the world has been on decline. We lived just fine for so many generations. Please stop destroying our country. Your opinion? Oh, this right here. Your opinion is nothing more than nostalgia. You were poor but happy? That is their opinion, though. You can't tell. That's not just their opinion. You can tell people, let people feel what they want to feel. But when it comes to like the country, But you know what? This is the elitist mentality. Let's be real. That's nothing but harm. Do not weigh down the growth of the economy with your pitiful ideology. Now this is where I have to agree. You motherfuckers, both flocks, your dumbass ideologies are what's holding the country back. I have to bring it back to Zeno from Dr. Stone. Ethics, politics, religion, all of that is holding science back from progressing. Yes, goddamn, this is so true though. It is. You cannot deny this. Your way of living is no more than survivor's bias. Don't ignore those who died of starvation and disease. Ooh, he's got you there. I will turn my homeland into an economic powerhouse. That is why I love to study economics. This is my lifelong mission. My mission is to create a country where hardworking men can live in the happiness they deserve. Oh, this guy is good. He sees the audience in an instant. Basma, you are contradicting yourself, my dude. Like, you had me on some things, but like, you're so full of shit on some other things. Like, come on, man. Basma-san, you said you want to turn this kingdom into one that could rival our neighbors. And you try to achieve that by stimulating the blacksmith industry with the decree. I'm sure you know this is not sustainable once the decree ends. Yeah. Yes! Yeah, you and your lackeys took all the brokerage fee and split it amongst yourselves. Again, cronyism. Not to mention, as a broker, you have no concern for overstock. It's a low-risk, high-return scheme that only serves to increase the wealth gap. Ooh. So tell me, how is the money you stole going to benefit the happiness of the people? This is elitism at its finest. Your words and actions are entirely contradictory. Which part of you is thinking for the people? The shade, yes! He got you there, my dude. He got you there. Your words and actions are entirely contradictory. Which part of you is thinking for the people? Uh-huh. And if you think about it, I'm sorry, I have to say it, but the Orange Man kinda did this a little bit. He did. I'm not saying he did all bad things, but boy, did he do some of the things that is being talked about in this chapter. Just a teeny bit. Again, not saying he did all bad, but just a little bit of the things that are being talked about here, he did. See? He's right. Now that I think about it, you finished your turn, then allow me. Who are the people? Ooh, of course it's every citizen living in this kingdom. I'm here to ensure the prosperity of this kingdom. And when the time comes, those who are incompetent will be left behind, and those who survive will become citizens of this kingdom. Whoa! As for the intellectuals who must... Oh my god, this is elitism. As for the intellectuals who must survive, I will gather them under my wings and provide them a share of the pie. Wait a minute. What happened to them hard workers? Now you are straight up contradicting yourself, my dude. After all, it's us intellectuals who know best how to use the money. This is Democrats. These are the fucking progressives. These are a lot of you fucking... not all you leftists, but these are the fucking elitists. These are the elitist limousine liberals. That is who this man is. Yes! It is for the good of the kingdom to give the money to those who deserve it the most. Yes, this is you, liberal Democrats like AOC. Yeah, this is AOC. You are getting called out up in this bitch. Nancy Pelosi, you are getting called out up in this bitch. This is you. This is you. This is all you. Cuomo, you are included too. Everybody getting called out up in here. Gavin Newsom, you are included. Oh my god, this is everything. Oh my god, I'm so glad I started covering this manga today. This chapter is giving me life. Oh my gosh. So you're telling the idiots to just die? Yes. I will agree with this statement though. So you're telling the idiots to just die, please. Please, please. If they had the time to complain, then they have the time to work hard and study. Dude, why are you contradicting yourself? Like, there are things that I agree with this man on. I do, but there are so many things that I disagree with him on. Like, come on, man. You're killing me. Oh, I hate you. I hate you so much for this. If they have the time to complain, then they have the time to work hard and study. Hard work and competition are crucial to economic growth. Yes, they are, but you're talking a big game, my dude. But your actions are not speaking for that. Why do you think I was appointed the finance minister? Why do you think the king and nobles come to me for advice? The answer is simple. Because no one in this kingdom knows the economy better than I. I know more than you could ever fathom. Part of me wants to say this. It's like, no. This ain't like Elizabeth Warren. He knows more about he's more economically sound than Elizabeth Warren. Oh my god, that is sad. That is sad that this corrupt asshole knows more about economics than Elizabeth Warren. This mofo knows more about economics than fucking AOC, and she has an economics degree. That is really pathetic. Without me, this kingdom is not going anywhere. If you know what, dude, this kingdom will go somewhere without you. They need a better economist. That's what it is. You're going to be the downfall of this kingdom because you're stealing all the money. If you know what's the best for this kingdom, then you'd know better than putting the blame on me. Dude, you are screaming to put the blame on you. What say you, my nobles and senators? If I were you, I'd be shutting the fuck up. That's what I'd be doing. You know the economy more than I could fathom, then I assume you have everything under control then? Not everything, but my work is helping the economy to grow. Very well then, fetch me the next report. Yes, sir. Yes! The kingdom's population is booming and the average income has gone down slightly, resulting in a positive increase in GDP. That's correct, thanks to me. However, since we are not treating with foreign countries, the circulation is strictly internal. So you mofos that are not for a free market economy, that are not for free trade, what say you now? So where did that money come from? Where? Over the last 3 years, the total wealth of nobles has halved. In other words, Basma got all his money from the nobles. That is what has been going on for the last 3 years. No! Really? This is under your control too, isn't it? Ooh, you speak... Dude, you just admitted it! You speak as if I'm committing some sort of evil. I didn't ask the nobles to spend their money to compete in the decree. Ooh, he's got you, though. He just said it. I didn't ask the nobles to spend their money to compete in the decree. You just went along with it. You motherfuckers didn't question it. According to the decree, the money should be going into the pockets of the blacksmiths and the mercenaries, not yours. Dude, it's not your fault that it wasn't in writing. That it shouldn't be going into that to make sure it doesn't go into Bazobs. But this right here. This video is going to be long because this is straight up preaching. This right here is exactly what's going on with like the education system and with the infrastructure bills. The money doesn't go where it needs to go. It never does, and people don't understand that. Let's see. The brokerage fee. The brokerage fee wasn't paid out of your pocket. You nobles don't lose anything. How many times do I have to tell you? You are simply jealous of my success. I discovered a trend, saw the opportunity, so I took the correct course of action and was rewarded by it. I followed the principles of economics and did not break any laws. Dude, he's just being a sneaky scumbag. Instead of envying my success, perhaps you should put in some hard work of your own by being a Dude, he is just fun. Dude, he's being a scumbag. He like found loopholes. This is not some economic shit. This is like more like lawyer shit, accountant shit. That's what this is. You used your connections to force everyone into abiding by your rules. Is that your hard work too? Those connections were the result of my hard work. That kind of is true. Do you honestly think I was born with them? It wasn't Maybelline. Dude, he's not wrong. Networking is actually hard work. I will give him that. He's strong. He has a mindset. Yes, thank you. He's strong. He has a mindset of an elitist and alpha ideology. His obsession with money makes him charismatic in a way that will turn away the weak. Yes, yes, yes. But resonate with the strong. So, his obsession with money makes him charismatic in a way that will turn away the weak. But resonate with the strong, such as the upper nobles here. Who empathizes with Basama and who doesn't? If the vote starts now, there's no telling how it'll go. Is that all from both sides? We don't have anything left. We used everything we had against him, but we couldn't force his hand. You kind of did force his hand a little bit, but damn, I gotta give the man I gotta give Basma credit where credit is due. Dude, you fucking sneaky asshole. This is why people hate lawyers. And probably hate CPAs too. Do we have to rely on luck from here on out? And also why people hate lobbyists and politicians. Let's be real. Then may I say something? Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead. I think it's rather unfortunate that the two of you only try to strangle each other when we gather here today to discuss who is responsible for the decree. Yes, go for this. Get him. The princess is right, but we don't have the evidence to take down Bosma nor any other ways. Then allow me to ask the question everyone is too afraid to ask. Father, were you the one who proposed the decree? Ooh! Get him! What? What are you saying? No, it's not me. He doesn't want to get the blame on this. Then did someone tell you to create it? Ooh, I see. If anyone knows the culprit, it would be the king. We tried to avoid getting on his bad side, so we never thought of this. Ooh, silence ensued, and for the next minute, everyone held their breath, awaiting the king's response. He clearly knows something. He must be thinking what to say. It's Biswa. He asked me to do it. As expected, a dead man tells no tale and would be the best candidate as the scapegoat. But this new piece of information solidifies the suspicion on Biswa as the dragon bishop. Yes! My king, why haven't you told us about this? Please wait a moment. Biswa was just an intelligence officer. Does he have the privilege to seek an audience with the king? He should not be able to. Then was there someone with him? Is that person here right now? Ooh, there was a deal struck. There was. Because remember, Biswa was a dragon bishop. He was the one that provided the dragon. Mm-hmm. For a moment, the king glanced away in distress towards Basma. Yes! The glance did not go unnoticed. Is Basma really the one who proposed the decree? If it's true, then we can win this. But how do we force out the truth? However, Basma kept his composure as he calmly signaled over his subordinate and whispered into his ear, How can he stay so calm? But I suppose we don't have anything against it besides that glance right now. Maybe he's acting calm to feign ignorance, eh? Oh! You want me to start a riot? Take a few men you trust, cover your faces, and start breaking things. Peasants are stupid. Once they see it, they'll follow suit. Dude, he is not wrong! This man is a fucking genius! He's an evil genius! Oh my god, you cannot deny this. He's an asshole, but man, he is a genius. Let's see. Dude, this man is fucking smart. Holy shit. Okay, let's see what he says. But what it says here: by sending spies disguised as protesters to the opposing side and starting a riot, one can effectively ruin the public image of their opponents. This is a method commonly used by authoritarian regimes to retain their control. Dude, the timing of this! While no one has said it, everyone present believes Futoshide was the one who led the protesters here. Therefore, should the protesters go on a rampage, the Vicky family will take a massive hit, destroying their image and testimony, along with any hopes of winning the trial. Oh, shit. Go! Yes, sir. What is he doing? Unknown to Futoshide, if Basma's plan succeeds, the quest will fail. If we can keep this up until the voting, we'd still stand a chance. We just need the king to speak. But if Basma has anything else up his sleeve, we'll be doomed. Ah, what is it? Ooh, owl. Hello, sorry for the intrusion. Who are you? I'm Great... Bettina! Yay! I'm Great Sorcerer Bettina. Nice to meet you. This is the leader of the Kingdom's investigation team and the leader of Bosma's investigation team. Report, yay! Jangy Vikis and his company has defeated the monster. Oh, thank God. Huh? And finally, the debate without a hero. Really? Yeah! Ends with the return of the hero. That's impossible. Bosma had just received a letter this morning from the man in front of him saying that it would take more time. Dude, this chapter was everything. Bosma is a fucking evil genius, though. Holy shit. I can't hate... I know Bosma is an elitist asshole. He is. But man, is he sneaky. He is. Like, part of me can't hate him for it. I can't hate him for it because he is doing what I have seen politicians do. He has done what I have done. I'm not going to lie that I have exposed loopholes. Loopholes are there for a reason. They are meant to be exposed. Or not exposed. Well, yeah, exposed, but exploited. Dude knew what he was doing with this decree. That sneaky little bitch. You can't hate the player. You can hate the game, though. But like, that shit when it was talking about the religion and stuff like that, I'm like, motherfucker, like, that's a load of bullshit about the elitists, not about rich people that pray. That is bullshit. But the inequality stuff, as I said, that is a load of crap. If you're talking about, like, the government redistributing wealth, no. If you're talking about straight up taxing the rich to redistribute wealth, no. But if you're talking about the redistribution in a way of, like, saying in the form of, like, cutting taxes and cutting regulations so that small businesses can grow and do their part to redistribute in terms of jobs and other shit to the community and contribute to the community, that's a whole different story. And you see, this is what happened. And they brought up a very good point about the importance of free trade, the importance of free market economy, and why being an isolationist nation is not good. And I really like that. I love that when we get chapters like this. We had it in Rurouni Kenshin. As I said, we had it in Rurouni Kenshin Hokkaido arc, which was great. And I love that we're getting a cronyism chapter like this. I think that's so brilliant that we're seeing elitists and cronyism like this. And I do like the thing that I think really made this even better was the riot aspect. The riot, that little thing from Bosma about the riot, about using opposition, sending spies to the opposition. And that's what authoritarian regimes do. That was a really interesting point because it makes you think about some of the riots that we have seen especially over the past year and what we are seeing right now. Because usually riots are started, usually and this is what I've been seeing because I've been a protest addict. I love my Riot Life PD. But something that we've seen is that usually the protests are, for the most part, they really are peaceful. But there's always a small group that causes shit, and they are the ones that start everything. So it makes you wonder if that really is true. If that applies to that, and if it also applies to not only that, but it also applies to what we're seeing abroad, whether it is in like Colombia, or if it's what we're seeing in France, or Germany. But in France, it's interesting because France, it's been relatively peaceful. Australia is a very interesting question. That's an interesting question. Is what about Australia with the riots there? Is that is there opposition there? Also in DC, on January 6th. What about that? We've seen reports that there's probably a chance that it's true that there was opposition up in there. But goddamn, I love this. I love when we get chapters exposing this kind of shit. But goddamn, Bosma, oh god, your contradictions. Ugh. It was glorious. It was glorious, and your scheme being exposed was everything. But I'm really curious what you guys think, especially that little thing about nostalgia as well. Was was a very interesting thing because it's true and it's not true. Like it's true because I could see where it's coming from. The arguments coming from on both sides, because like you have the yes, there's the nostalgia with in culture with the where you have the SJWs saying the bullshit about with us giving a lot of shit about a lot of the reboots, and then calling people saying that, oh, it's nostalgia, blah blah blah, progress. But then there's that argument that was made in here about, what, you got to make progress or otherwise you're going to just be stuck in like generational poverty. So I could see like both sides of that. I can see both sides of that. But I can understand that. But I'm very curious what you guys saw this chapter. I think this is definitely was a really deep chapter. I know this video got really long, but goddamn, I'm so glad I started covering this manga today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, what you guys think, and remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Nerdigans Inc. If you love what I'm doing, I want to help keep this channel alive and kicking so I can keep bringing you more what I'm standing on 100 standing on a million lives content. There's a few ways you could do that. You could donate to my Cash App, PayPal, Patreon, purchase something on my Amazon wishlist. All that's in the description box below. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter, Twitch, Discord, friend me on PlayStation Network. That is in the description box below as well. Until next time, Nerdigans, I will be seeing you later.